Welcome to Let's Talk. I am Pastor Johnny Ortiz. I'm with my wife, Pastor Ruth, and we are here speaking on dream. And I think it's been pretty good. It's made me want to dream about many things. And we spoke about, we broke it down as an acronym, and we spoke about the D being the desire. You have to have a desire in order to dream. And then we spoke about being real. You can't just dream for $1 million when you don't have a job, you don't want to work, you're lazy, you can't. It has to be some type of reality of within the dream, but yet far fetched. Because if it's a dream you know you could reach, then it's not a dream. But it's a dream outside of your reach, then you know it's a big dream. And not only is it a big dream, but it's also a God dream. And today we are on E. So welcome to everyone. We thank you for tuning in. I'll let my wife talk 'cause I talk too much sometimes.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not a morning person. It takes me a while. I wake up early every day. I don't sleep
After about
in,
4 cups of coffee.
but it takes me a while. On the other hand, you're a morning person, so uh, when I used to work, I used to tell people I'm wide awake after 11, 12. So, but we're glad to be here to be sharing on the E today. So today's expectancy, and I think it's an important word. It's an important facet of our existence because I think that when we expect, when there's that expectancy, there's hope,
hmm
and so I'm excited to talk about that today.
Expectancy. I did a little bit of research
Hmm.
in the book called Webster. And in the dictionary, it says that expectancy is to anticipate or look forward to the coming or the occurrence of something.
Right.
And it kind of brings me back to the Bible where it says, and faith is a substance.
Hmm.
I think expectancy is the substance of dreaming. I think without that, without the expectancy, I think it could be a nightmare.
Hmm.
It could be uh, a nightmare more because if you don't, I mean, for me in life, if you don't live with that expectancy in life, period, forget about dreaming, just in life, period, you're living a pretty raw, boring, dull.
That's true. Very true. But here comes the I think everyone also has different levels of expectancy.
Mhm.
Some are a lot more exterior, or maybe it's expressed that way, and then others are not. Maybe there's that still quiet voice. There's an expectancy there, and so I think everyone has a different level. The other day, so at our church, we're actually you've been doing a team building Wednesday discipleship.
Mhm.
And we've been given assessments for our spiritual gifts and our
Personality.
personality types. And we've thought, I think it's been so beneficial, not just for the church or the body of Christ or people in general, but I think it's taught us how different we are and how God wired us that way. And so we understand each other better. And I know that you know a little bit more than I do because you've been teaching it. But I know the disc personality types are dominant, influential, those who are
Stable,
correct, or
compliant.
conscientious or compliant. And then the S is for those who are stable or steady. And so we understand I believe
Okay,
that.
she got an A already.
Yeah. And I didn't go to all the classes. And so I think even that has opened our eyes to understand one another. And even sitting at the table the other day, because you are a IDS,
IDS.
I am a CS, and then Maribel is I know she's an I in there somewhere, and an S, and a D.
I think
She's
she's a
very similar to
CDI.
you. And then, so anyway, sitting at the table, different personality types, we all bring something different to the table. But I think at the core of our existence, we're all in expectancy of something. Even if we don't express it, even if we don't speak about it, right? And the expectancy might be a very, very basic one for some people. Expectancy might be, let me get through this day because I'm having such a difficult week or a difficult month or a difficult year. Getting through the day is expectancy for some.
Well, and I think kind of on that foundation, using the different personalities that we have, I still believe that there's that you have to have that expectancy.
Mhm.
If I could, without people throwing a bomb at me, but to paraphrase the verse,
Mhm.
and faith is a substance. I think and dreaming is a substance of expectancy.
Mhm.
I think we all need to have some type of expectancy.
Mhm.
I think many people probably get into a depression mode, an anxiety mode, a solitude mode, because there's nothing to expect. You wake up, you have no
Yeah.
life. I think life is having an expectancy. I think life is you wake up expecting to brush your teeth, you're expecting to eat, you're expecting to see, and sometimes a dream could be shattered when it's not that. I remember when my mom, Big Mama, I remember when she passed. The first time I went to her house, even knowing here and here that she's not there, I was still walking into that house expecting to
Mhm.
see her.
Mhm.
And I think that's when reality hit me, that I walked in and she wasn't in that chair anymore. And not seeing her in that chair brought that reality in the sense of
Mhm.
she's gone.
Mhm.
I think the dream is the same way. When you're expecting something,
Mhm.
I think it brings life, because even my mom being, Big Mama being gone, for me, it was more like she's gone, but man, I can't wait. Again, the expectancy. I can't wait to see her once again.
Mhm.
So I think when you dream, you have to have some type of expectancy.
Mhm. Well, and then hoping, right, that somehow, some way, we can be of motivation, influence, I don't know, encouragement to people who are not dreaming uh, how God wants them to dream. I think that's
Mhm.
why we're here talking about this. Or maybe
Yes.
not. I don't know.
No, but it's true, because Romans 8:24-25. You hit the nail on the head, because Romans 8:24-25 in the NLT, it says, "We are given this hope when we are saved."
Mhm.
If we already have something, we don't need a hope for it. I'm gonna change that hope to dream. We are giving this dream when we are saved. If we already have something, we don't need to dream for it. But if we look forward to something we don't have yet, we must, and I think this is key for expectancy, we must wait patiently and confidently. And I think that's part of
That's hard to do, to
why.
wait, to wait,
But those
to
who wait
wait.
upon the, no, I'm not gonna.
It's hard. It's hard. It's very difficult to wait because we're impatient beings. Most people are.
do you
There are
think? Do you
people
think?
who are more patient.
But do you think it's because of the society that we live in that people are less patient now because we're so used to getting everything quick,
I
internet?
think it's in our human nature because we want something and we want it now.
But when you see your parents, my
Hmm.
parents, who are in their 80s,
Hmm.
they're not like that. They know how to just wait. They know how to, because they weren't.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I'm a lot more patient today than I was when I was 20.
No, no, but what I'm saying, not because of age,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the era that they were raised in. In other words, they didn't have microwaves, so they learned how to wait to boil water. They knew how to wait for the beans to cook. They knew how to wait to
Mm-hmm.
warm things up. It was something that was in them, where now, going back even to the internet, when it first started, it had a dial up and beep,
Oh,
and
that
you had
thing
to
drives
wait.
me crazy. Even now, any internet, I don't care how fast it is, it's too slow for me.
And that's why I'm saying I think
Yeah.
society and the age that we live in has made us impatient as well too. And I think when going back when we start having these dreams that God places inside of us,
Hmm.
I think there's that button, if I could say,
Hmm.
where you. I used to see this one stress button where you'd press it
Hmm.
and it would like dang, and I think there's that button too to where you could be able to press it, and when you press it,
Hmm.
it and for me that pressing is the prayer time. Because if we truly believe that God is an on-time God, He's never early, He's never late, He's right on time. Not our time, His time.
Hmm.
I think then is when we could when we learn how to be patient. But it is a discipline. I do believe it's a discipline because I have a lot of patience on some things,
Yeah.
but I don't have patience on many
Mm.
things. But it goes back to
Well, and I'm not saying that it's the wrong, it's not something to be disciplined, to work towards, to be patient. I think it's important to do that. In fact, I think as personally, I purposely sit myself in a chair or on a sofa or my place at home, and I sit there and my devotion is waiting upon the Lord, because you can give God a whole long list, but you got to wait on him to speak and so I think patience is part of it, but it is difficult to wait and to be patient. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm
right,
saying
right, right,
it is
right.
a difficult thing to confront.
But yeah, no, no, I mean, I think for anyone in this day of age, I think patience is hard.
Right. And so being waiting is part of it, right? But the expectancy for me is also the in the New Testament. I think it's in Luke. It speaks about how Christ said, give you this command. I tell you this now, right? To love the Lord your God with all your heart." When he was questioned about,
What
uh,
is the greatest commandment?
this is the greatest commandment, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And then, by the way, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so I think expectancy is tied up to also loving God first, right? That's just part of it, because in a podcast with two Christian people, two pastors, we're going to put God in there. We can't just do a secular,
We tried not to.
we
Trust me, we tried
yeah,
not to. But
we try to keep it practical, but we know the center of our lives and the center of it all is Christ. As simplistic as it may sound, we know that Christ should be the center of it all. And so, going back to this scripture, it's important that we love God, and we love God with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind and strength, but also loving ourselves. And I think that's part of expectancy, because many people feel, not many, some people may feel, I don't deserve this. I,
that's
I
good.
can't get
That's
this
good.
because I'm not even going to expect that, because I don't deserve it.
Hmm.
I'm not even going to expect, you know, getting, if you're single, getting a godly man, a Christian man, a handsome guy, a person who has a life, who can provide, who has something to bring to the table, right? Because it's not always money, but something I don't deserve that, because that person does not love themselves. So you have to love yourself to be able to live in expectation that something good
That's
is
right.
coming my way. Today something good is coming my way, because I love God, and I love him with my heart, with my soul, with my mind, with my strength. And I also love myself. And I also love my neighbors. So when you dream and you expect, you're not just doing this for yourself, you're also doing that for other people. You're expecting good things for others. And so it's not just me, the dream for me, the expectancy for me. But you begin to also encourage other people as we are today.
Well, and I think dreaming again, according to all most or all scripture, I could probably say that dreaming is actually for others more than for yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I think loving your enemy, that has nothing to do with dreaming. No, that's nightmares.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's very much so
Just
because
kidding. Just kidding.
because then you don't hold a grudge and you don't hold on to unforgiveness. Ah.
All right, we're done. But no, I think with expectancy, I think also what you're saying is you have to do it with the outside of me.
Hmm.
You are going to expect God's going to do it, but everything God does and every dream He gives us is to glorify Him, not us.
Right. Absolutely.
And in order to glorify Him, you have to do it to bless others. And the
That's
ex-
good.
I think the
That's
expectancy
good.
becomes shallow when
Very good.
you see someone else doing the dream that you had,
Right.
and you see it and you get mad because, well, that should have been me, or that whatever
Hmm.
whatever question you want to put there, that should have been me. Why are they doing it?
Hmm.
I have more resource than that person. Why is it them and not me? And you go back and forth, back and
Hmm.
forth, and the moment that happens, then it becomes more. It's no longer an expectancy. Now it becomes a pride issue
Hmm.
because now you're trying to put yourself above that person,
Hmm.
better than that person.
Hmm.
And when you're expecting, again, everything that we do in life, my marriage is to glorify God.
Hmm.
My children is to glorify God. Being pastors is to glorify God.
Hmm.
Being a good citizen here in San Antonio, Texas, the best
Hmm.
city in the whole world, according to me, um, it's to glorify God.
Hmm.
And and without without wanting to bless others, then the expectancy in dreaming becomes shallow.
Hmm. Hmm.
What is the purpose?
Hmm.
Why do you want to dream then?
Hmm.
And there's many movie stars that you might see, many athletes that you might see that when they retire, they become poor
Hmm.
and their identity is shattered and no longer do they even believe in themselves because they didn't know how to use their money. They didn't know how to be good
Hmm.
stewards of their money. Every dream they had was mainly because of themselves.
Right.
You know, being poor, wanting to be rich just because I was poor.
Hmm.
Not, man, I want this to bless my family. I want this to bless people. I want this to bless the kingdom.
Hmm.
So I think that's where we're kind of like what you're saying is the expectancy. It starts with having a love with yourself. That's good. Having to start loving yourself because
Hmm.
how can you dream for something
Hmm.
when you don't expect it for yourself?
Hmm.
Then I
Well,
guess
and
it'd
then
be a
another
daydream.
thing that, yeah, it could be daydream. I think another thing that comes to mind when you say expectancy is whenever a woman is expecting, right? And so
Expecting what? No,
expecting a
I'm just
baby,
kidding.
expecting a baby. And so I think that it gives me a picture of that because when a woman is pregnant for, I mean, as many ways that we have, sonograms, there's ways to see the baby now, 3D imaging, and you can see the face and you can see the eyes and you can see but it's still not, it still doesn't compare to seeing the baby. You have an idea, oh yeah, he has, my husband's lips or my whatever, maybe. And so
I still can't see
I know
sonograms,
he
so
still can't figure out sonograms at all. To you they look distorted. You're like, where's the head? Where's the legs? But it gives the mom or the dad, the family, an idea how this baby looks. But then to me, there's an expectancy, but you can't see it. You can't hold it yet, but you know it's coming.
oh, that's good because speaking about how you could see it in a sonogram, I now I'm going to get very very religious on this, but
You're a preacher, so.
looking at it as a sonogram, think about it. Then you could see your dreams in the spiritual
Yeah.
before it comes to reality.
Hmm.
That's the sonogram that God has given us. But you have to, you have, man. I better stop
So,
because
so then.
then you have to find that private place with God
Mhm.
to download the expectancy of what you're seeing in the spirit. And once you see in the spirit, of course, there's going to be a battle. But once you see in the spirit, maybe that's why a lot of dreams fail
Mhm.
because they're not seeing the sonogram.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're not seeing it in the spirit. So when you don't see in the spirit,
Mhm.
there's no movement.
Well, and then when the baby's born, it blows the parents' expectations.
Hmm.
So when the dream is birthed, you had no idea.
I think I have my preaching for this Sunday.
You have no idea the baby was going to look like that. And so I think when the dream is birthed, you're like, whoa, this blows my mind because I was expecting this, a
Hmm.
very simple sonogram picture. And then you're holding a baby in your hand. And maybe his lips don't look like dad. And maybe the eyes like what you thought would. And sometimes even our dreams, God will blow our minds. And we're expecting this, and he gives us this. And we're wowed. I think that's how
Yeah.
God is going back, but you got to love yourself to be able to open your arms and your hands to God's gifts, to his goodness.
Because even when there's dreams, you just took this to another level, babe.
Sorry.
Because even thinking about that, how many children come out damaged
Hmm.
because in the womb, even though the mom was expecting, they didn't want the baby. It was
Hmm.
an oops, it was a mistake, and they're
They
feeling
feel,
that,
yeah,
they're
they feel
saying
the.
that, they're mad at the dad. They're look at what you did to me. The dad saying, look at what you put me into, and it's going on while the baby is in the womb.
Mhm.
And I think that happens to many people where they have this dream, but they see so much commotion happening around. They see so much other people reaching maybe that
Mhm.
dream that
Mhm.
they're already like, why do it? They already did it.
Mhm.
But yet every dream is specific. It's like fingerprints. Every person has a different.
Mhm.
There's not one similar fingerprint.
Right.
Even though someone might have a dream that you have, but the outcome of their dream is gonna be different than the outcome of your dream, even though it's the same dream.
Mhm.
But if you keep on knocking, like, what for? Why do it? Again, patiently. When you're not patient, and
Mhm.
then it says not only we must wait patiently, but confidently.
Mhm.
I think being confident that God knows what's best, and He's gonna give it to you. He's gonna plan it out for you.
Yeah.
He's gonna show you. And wow.
And I think that confidence comes also with one thing you were mentioning on Sunday, redemption,
Mm,
that he bought us back. So, did anyone deserve it? No, none of us did.
none of
Not
us.
one single person, including I would put my name first. None of us deserved it. None of us, but he gave it to us. So let's get past that. Oh, I don't deserve God's goodness. I don't deserve his forgiveness. I don't deserve his good gifts that none of us do. Okay,
But because
let's
they
get
don't love themselves, you think they do that?
perhaps, but we have to be reminded that the work on the cross was not just for redemption, but redemption in the sense of he expected us, or it's like he had this wonderful plan for us. And as we all say, right, Adam and Eve messed it all up. We
Eve
blame
did.
it, we
Eve
always
did.
blame it on them.
Don't blame it on the man, please.
But the original, what was God's original intent for I'll put myself as an example, a person dealing with fear, right? Since I know when I started dealing with that, since I was like 4 years old, and I knew the moment. But what was God's original intent for my life when he was forming me in my mother's womb is for me not to live in fear, is for me to not walk in fear. And so that that's the expectancy, right? And so we, in confidence, when we walk confidently, we're confident that God redeemed us through the work of Christ. We're redeemed. So I don't question,
Blood
do
of the
I
Lamb.
deserve it? No, that's out the window because he redeemed me already. He bought us back. And we walk in that confidence that he did that. And so when we get past that, then we can begin to expect, okay, Lord, how are you going to bless me today? What are you going to do? Surprise me today. And it can be, the surprise can be as simple as looking up to the skies and saying, God is good to, he's been good to me. He's been faithful to me. Look how beautiful the sky is. Look, and maybe your son or daughter just saying something funny and you just laugh. It makes you cry like Bea did yesterday. She said something so hilarious. She made us all
She didn't even know it.
cry. I mean, laughing. We're laughing, crying because she made us laugh. So even things like that
Yeah.
are beautiful. They're gifts from God.
Well, this morning my devotion was in Luke chapter 7 about the Roman soldier, the centurion, and it blows my mind how he was expecting
Hmm.
Jesus, and he didn't he didn't think less of himself, although he didn't feel he was worthy for him to come in, but he knew he
Hmm.
expected for Christ to heal one of his workers.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes some people, even though you might not feel you're worthy, but still know that Christ, have that expectancy that Christ is
Hmm.
still going to do the work because what he started, he's going to finish.
Hmm.
And, we go through life with so much drama, we go through life with so much stress, so much negativity, so much, there's just so much that happens in life.
Hmm.
But if we could just turn around and understand that even in those times, I mean, there's been times where I felt like giving up.
Hmm. Absolutely.
There's been times where I feel like,
Absolutely.
yes, I'm not that I'm not worthy, but why me?
Hmm. Hmm.
And but at the end of the day, the expectancy comes in like, but even then,
Hmm.
if God said it, he's going to fulfill it.
Hmm.
And the dreams that I've had, the dreams that are in my heart, the dreams that are in my mind, the dreams that I've shared with you that sometimes become your nightmares, like you say,
Hmm.
even in those dreams when no one has believed in me, I know
Hmm.
that there was always one person that said, but if I gave you that dream,
Hmm.
it's going to come to pass.
Hmm.
And again, because of my private time with Christ, builds up the confidence in me
Absolutely.
to say, I'm expecting it now.
Hmm.
It might not come tomorrow, it might not come next month,
Hmm.
but I'm expecting it to come
Hmm.
sooner or later. And I hope it's sooner than later. But again, the patience of, you know what, but if God promised it, he's not a man to go back on his word or son of God to lie. And I think I said it backwards. Anyway, it's in the Bible. And but I really believe that even in those times, and one of my greatest characters or people in the Bible is David, that when they anointed him as king and when he became king was years. It didn't happen overnight.
Hmm.
It was years, but he never lost expectancy that he was going to be king. Even when they wanted to kill him, even when his kids wanted to kill him, even when Solomon wanted to kill him, even when everyone was against him, even though he even went to the enemy's camp and was helped fight their battles for a while. Even then, but he knew that one day he's going to be king
But he was also very transparent. I love that about David.
before God. Yeah. Well,
Before the world, before humanity, because
Lord.
we've been reading his stories all these years. All these years we've been reading about, and we know his story. So I think transparency is also key. I like how you said it right now because it's true. Just because we speak these things, they're here, right? But there are moments where we go through valleys and we wake up and we're like, okay, what are we going to do today? How is this going to pan out today? It's
Yeah.
even though we have the faith, we have the hope, we have the expectancy, but we have troubles. We
Yeah.
have troubles. And so there are the questions of, okay, how, God? And I think King David is a great example of that, how he lamented. He told God, you brought me to this place, and then the enemies are going to get to me. They're going to kill me. He's lamenting. He's saying, he's speaking truth from his heart. And I love that
Mm.
about him. He wasn't private about that, if you will. Because, I mean, now we all know. So when we get to heaven, we can look at King David and say, we know a lot
Nasty
about
old
you.
boy.
And I wonder if sometimes we don't do that enough.
Yeah.
We don't speak about our struggles and how we have valley moments and those valley seasons of loss, of grief, of disappointment. But at the end of the day, we've seen God get us through, and
Mhm.
we've seen him fulfill dreams. We know he's a faithful God. He's
Yes, he
proven
is.
that to us. He fulfills, he gives us dreams, and then he brings people alongside us to help us fulfill those dreams for his glory, as he said.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because again, I just believe that expectancy always has to come with with the thought that it's
It's gonna
coming.
happen.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen. Yeah.
It's gonna happen because and within that time, I love to say this to myself when I'm going through hard times in life. I like to tell myself, without defeat, you'll never enjoy victory.
Mm-hmm.
If you always have wins,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same feeling that when you've been defeated and you get back up
Mm-hmm.
and you win. And and I think that goes with dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be hard. You're gonna have times where you want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna come against you and say you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
People will look at you and laugh and mock you. But at the end of the day, when you do expect it to happen and when it does happen,
Mm-hmm.
not to turn around and laugh at those people because then you're just as bad as they were. But to turn around and just give God the glory and says, God, thank you, like David would do.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of everything, even when he was lamenting, he was kind of telling God off in a good sense, but like, God, I can't believe you got me going through this.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Kill my enemies, destroy them. But then at the end of all of that, he always say, but your will be done.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in charge. But I love you. I bless you. I glorify you. I exalt you. And I think in those times that when you are going through all that, even though you lament with God, always remember to turn around and just thank Him and say, you know what? But at the end of the day, I expect it to happen. I know it's going to happen. You anointed me for such a time as this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. And as you give the thanks, again, people will turn around like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
all over. As transparent as David
Mm-hmm.
was, as the crazy things that he did in the Bible, the from top to bottom. But at the end of the day, what did God say? But he's a man after my own
Mm-hmm.
heart. And I think when you have that expectancy, God sits in heaven looking at you and saying, she or he is a man or a woman after my own heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best words you could be able to hear. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if David ever heard it until he maybe faced him or saw him or got made it. But just to know that if God told David that, again, the
Mm-hmm.
expectancy, he's going to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
Well done, good and faithful servant. And the ones who mocked you, the ones who laughed at you, the ones that turned around and told you stuff, you could turn around and say, God,
Mm-hmm.
be all the glory. Like Job said, should I just worship, praise? Should I just love him? I'm paraphrasing, but should I
Mm-hmm.
just do in the good times? Is that when I let the whole world know who God is in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Or even in the times of trouble that I could still with tears smile because of the joy of the Lord. And expectancy is huge in dreaming. I think I would dare to say that E in dream is probably the essence
Mm-hmm.
of dream. Because of course, you have to turn around and be
It's the middle. It's the
right.
center. It's in
Yeah.
the center of the word.
I mean, yes, you have to have a desire, but
Yeah.
many people have that desire, and you have to be real.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, I think that next
Mhm.
step of E is like, okay, this is where you're gonna make it or break it to a
Mhm.
point.
Mhm.
Like if you're expecting,
Mhm.
so
We expect good things. We expect good things out of this podcast. We expect otherwise we would not do all this work. It's a lot of work, you know.
and thanks to Victor because
Pastor
he's a
Victor has to do a lot. I see him
yep
and I'm like, it's a lot of work to get
because
my
he's a
hair done, to, to to get up earlier and do my hair and my makeup, to get ready and to do this. It's work.
but in the same way, Pastor Victor's expecting something good to come out of
Yeah.
this.
And so at the end of it all, we expect good things out of the podcast, expect good things for Catalyst, expect great things for San Antonio, expect great things for our family, for we're in expectation of it. But we're also not um, ignorant to the fact that sometimes things are not going to go as planned. You know, things are not going to look as we want them to look. But at the end of it all, we still give thanks
Yeah.
to God. And so that's the word expectancy today. I like this. I like this word.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're expecting.
we're expecting.
I'm expecting. I'm almost 9 months.
Expect.
But no, thank you for joining us, and I hope this podcast is really blessing your life. If you do us a favor, share this podcast with
Yeah.
other people. Um, a little announcement for Catalyst Church. We will be having a men's conference September the 15th and 16th. We'll have Joe Rosa with us on September, that Friday night and Saturday morning. So if you want to come, we're at 610 Avalon Street, San Antonio, Texas. Please join us. Outside of that, man, we love you. We thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you.
On behalf of me and my wife, Pastor Johnny and Pastor Ruth, we just want to bless your lives and stay tuned for the next podcast that we'll be talking about A.
Mhm.
And A stands for come back and you'll see. God bless y'all and y'all have a blessed,
Have a good
blessed,
one.
blessed week and we will see you soon.